I'm coming, wait up! I'm coming, wait. Whoa! Hello, it is Rex the dog, and we're back doing something you're probably gonna see fairly regularly here on this channel. We're back doing a cooking vlog, you know? I do the laundry vlogs here where I just sort of unscripted nonsense, you know, where I put out my laundry to dry, and I ramble along as I'm doing it, and now, you know, I'm like, screw it. I can do the same thing sometimes when I do a little bit of a batch cook, you know, we can just chuck the camera on, we can record, we can put the fursuit on. It slows me down a little bit in terms of what I'm doing here, for real. Because of the visibility of the freaking fursuit, but hey, there we go. It's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the opportunity to kind of have a little bit of a ramble with you guys. And guys, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling happy, healthy. Wiping my nose with the onion finger there. I'm feeling happy, healthy. Not quite wealthy, but and wise, you know. We're feeling good here. I'm an easily pleased pup, you know? Like, if I can get myself into like a nice routine where I can fit in, you know, let's go back to that kind of statement that I said there, right? Happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? It's like a cliche, whatever. I'm cliche. By the way, we're cooking chicken tikka masala today. I mean, you might have seen it in the frickin' title of the video or whatever. And I'm Rex the dog. I do stuff like this. So happy. What's got me happy at the moment? I would say that something that's got me quite happy at the moment is, well, no, let's finish with happy, because I think the healthy, wealthy, and wise are satisfying like contributors to the happiness, right? So maybe let's go kind of the other way. Healthy. Okay. Because being healthy makes me happy, so I thought we'd like, you get what I'm saying? Always recommend this, clean up bowl. So I've got the bin right here. I just chuck that right in there. Bada bing, bada boom, realest guys in the room. So, yeah, let's talk about healthy. So what's got me healthy at the moment? The exercise routine is going really well at the moment. I think exercise and health can be I struggle with sort of any topic, to be honest. But it can be a really sort of like toxic thing, right? Where you're like beating yourself up to like, you know, be faster or be stronger or look better, or, you know, now. And I think I'm finally in like this place where I've been, you know, where I'm pretty good with the sort of ebb and flow. Okay, I'm a little bit tubbier at the moment, you know, but like I'm not in that sort of like mindset which like I previously have been, where it's like, oh dude, we need like a 6-pack all year round, like, you know, sort of crazy behavior like that. I'm like not there anymore. I feel that like I understand my body a lot better. I understand sort of the limitations. I understand the ups and downs that naturally happen between seasons, and the occasional sacrifices that are made because I want to eat just a deep dish pizza or something. No, deep dish pizza, I'm not a deep dish pizza guy, I'm a flat pizza guy. I'm pretty Italian, you know, I like something like, you know, like something from like, Napoli's, you know what I mean? Like something that's like really thin base, thick, rich tomato. Feels good. Might have to do a pizza video sometime, or pizza stream, I don't know. Now I'm thinking about pizza. But yeah, I think with my health and stuff like that, I'm getting into like, you know, consistently, because that's all it's about, right? You do something one day, I mean, who frickin' cares? Like, good for you, yippee. But if you manage to do something kind of like a bit more consistently, then great. And I do feel that like consistently, I've been a bit more like, just shove that over there. I've been a bit more consistently just like, oh yeah, like I'm okay with my body. I'm okay that like, you know, I'm slower at the moment, but like this is better, or ba-ba-da-ba-da. I know I'm just feeling a bit like better with kind of the ups and flows. I'm not getting guilty with, dude, I like, Because that was on this channel when I did that thing where I ran at least 5 kilometers a day, every day, for I think like 50 days or something. Now that was ridiculous. That was not healthy. I mean, it was great for building up a bunch of discipline, so there was benefits to that, but like, come on, you need rest days and stuff like that. And on top of that, I'm going to the gym and whatever, and yada yada. I think I'm in a position now where, like, you know, I feared the rest day, and I like, whenever I was like, you know, I didn't get a run in, I didn't get a workout in, I didn't like train something, I was like, oh dude, I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting it, you know, I'm losing progress, because progress is time invested, and I'm not investing my time, you know. I used to get really crazy like that, or when I got sick, I'd be like, bouncing off the walls in my brain, obviously not physically, because I was sick, but in my brain, I'd be like bouncing off the walls and all that sort of thing, we've got to get back out there, got to get back out there, and now I'm just like, oh, you know, I might even miss a whole week of training because of like travel or other commitments and stuff gets in the way. It's just like, all right, this happens. I don't let this happen consistently, but this happens, you know, sometimes, and we just kind of get on with it and we live with the hand we were dealt, you know. So I think those kind of, let's put the garlic in here. I think those sorts of, you know, behaviors and mindsets have led to my like relationship with health being like so much better, and my overall happiness, and I can still feel proud, and I can still feel content for what I'm doing, but I'm not in this constant just like, it needs to be better, it needs to be better, it needs to be better. Like that sort of mindset, because that sort of mindset is kind of effed up. So the health's going good. Running, got a bit back into cardio. People who've like hung out here for a while, they know I did a marathon here in the winter. I did a marathon here in the winter. Obviously the training for the marathon kind of like dominated my life. And post that, my 2 big chicken breasts. These you like badonkadonks, like boobies. We got breast here. But yeah, so my cardio really cut down after that, because after so much running, I was like, I don't want to freaking run anymore, and I kind of went a bit lax on the cardio, hence a little bit of the tub, a little bit of the slowing down. I've been getting back into cardio more, I've been prioritizing cardio more, you know, but I've still been training, and yada yada. I've been training sensibly, I've not been beating myself up, I've been doing stuff for longevity. I think that's it. I think at the moment, I'm just focusing on doing stuff for like longevity. So like the health stuff, longevity, that's the plan. Be healthy for longer, get smaller and smaller gains over a, you know, over a longer period of time, so they stack, right? Streams on this channel, I used to go like crazy all out on them, and I'd be doing like 7-hour streams and stuff like that, and I'm sure 7-hour streams will happen again. I'm sure when Metal Gear Solid 3 comes out, I'll be like, ugh. But what am I doing today? But yeah, now we're just doing like shorter streams, we're mixing things up, whatever. We're doing fun, different things for longevity. I think that's the secret, man. Doing stuff for longevity. We're going calmer on everything, but we're investing in, hey, we're going to do this over a long period of time, and the habits are going to stack into something big, into something exciting, and it's all going to be freaking cool. Is that a little bit of bone? Is that a little bit of cartilage? A little bit of cartilage, right? A little bit of cartilage on the chicken booby. Chuck that away. So yeah, I really think that that's like a secret to like my more and more cartilage. I think that's the right word I'm using now. I think that's kind of the secret to, you know, this stuff happening so consistently over like a long period of time right now, and also my relationship with it being like pretty chill. So the health stuff's going good. I'm enjoying cooking as usual. I try to cook things up, you know, myself, because I enjoy doing it, and you can make up healthy foods, and I can talk to you while I do it, and wear a dog head, and you know, all that kind of thing. So I think the health stuff's going good. What's it? It's healthy, wealthy. Wealthy's the next one. Okay. So finances are kind of good. Finances, dude, we're talking about finances. Finances are kind of going okay at the moment. I feel like I've hit a decent balance of like, I'm working like hard enough and smart enough to sustain my modest little life here, but I'm also not going like full like grind set mode and like doing loads of overtimes and stuff like that, so I still got like time to enjoy myself and do those sorts of things. And then I think all those little habits I do have of like, even going back to the healthy stuff, you know, the gym I go to is pretty modest, doesn't cost me a lot of money, cooking up my own food, not eating out at the time, you know what I mean? Like, so sort of like, the habits all cross over into each other. You know, the healthiness makes me happier, and the healthy habits can also help me be a little bit more wealthy with my time and whatever, because that's what it's all about for me. I live a really modest life here, it's not kind of crazy. I do have my vices, you know, like I do buy video games, and video games are kind of like expensive, you know? So that's kind of probably like my big vice that I have that sets me back. But, no, dude, I feel that like in terms of, I don't really have like this like big financial goal of like, ooh, I'd like to buy a frickin' this car or anything, you know what I mean? So I much prefer to just kind of like, you know, and I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can kind of like, okay, let's try and like pick projects that interest me a little bit and stuff like that, and as long as we got kind of enough to keep the lights on here and to buy some chicken to make a chicken tikka masala, then, and you know, get a couple of new video games every so often, I'm kind of happy. So that's kind of cool. The wisdom. So we've got the healthy, wealthy, and the wise. And I think these all stack into each other, right? Because if my body's not causing me problems, I get more time to do stuff. If I've, you know, focusing on, you know, earning just enough money to sustain my life here and kind of prioritizing a bit more free time, then I've got more time to explore cultural things. And culturally, I feel really, really sort of rich at the moment. I've enjoyed the community that's built around this sort of like Rex, Rebel Heart, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Telegram, Discord, links in description. All of that kind of stuff, because I get shared different points of view and different things to check out and stuff like that. So like, you know, I feel like, you know, like trying different games and like, you know, listening to different music and karaoke and like, you know, all those different things that we do on the channel, really, really help kind of expand my horizons. Because I feel wisdom for me comes from like education, comes from culture. And, you know, having time to like, you know, free time to exist here, which, you know, I've lived here for like 5+ years now, but to live in like a foreign country with like a foreign culture and like all these different people from here are native or people from Latin America have come here as well, it's really, really enriching to me, and be able to speak to people on chat from different countries about like things that they've experienced and things they like. I love it, man. Just having time to like exist in this beautiful sunny country and like listen to different music and stuff, like it's just so freaking cool, and it's so inspiring. And you know you can listen to the background of this video here. I got a demo from my furry punk rock band Hell and Defy. You know, so like just like interacting with culture and trying to like contribute to culture and trying to like write more and trying to read more and trying to express myself more, and this would be a part of it, you know, like me right here right now just sort of cooking away in the kitchen. The kitchen's a beautiful place. I'm not saying my kitchen's a beautiful place, but I appreciate beauty and everything. My mom's little kitchen's beautiful to me. But the kitchen's such a beautiful place because it's like the marriage of like two really human things. I feel. It's like, it's an art studio. You know, it's a place to like, you know, put things together and whatever and create. But it's also, so it like, you know, it represents like the art and culture and tradition and the tribe and the mother and the father, you know, and like all that stuff coming together, and the stuff you were taught to cook and the stuff that you created on your own to cook and all that. It's beautiful, man. So it's the art studio and it's culture and it's all these big ideas. But it's not just that. It's also a laboratory, you know? because we got the fire, and we got the irreversible chemical reactions, and we got all this stuff going on. So it's science. It's like the marriage between art and science. It's so freaking beautiful to me. It's so freaking beautiful to me. So I don't know, just being like attached to like all those kind of ideas, like culture and cooking, and exercising and speaking to different people and being immersed in a different culture and all that sort of stuff. I think that's what gives me wisdom. Whatever kind of wisdom I might have. But I mean, I might be the fool, but they have that whole thing they say about, like the fool and the wise man both being kind of closer to each other on that polarizing ends of the spectrum than those guys in the middle, because we both kind of, I think I'm probably on the fool side, right? We both kind of acknowledge that, what do we know? We know nothing. We are but men. Now I've got that Tenacious D thing in my head. We are but men. La, 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 la. No, but I feel like I'm in like a really good place at the moment. And in terms of that, I would say that like this, as I was trying to get to that point before, but then I started obsessing over the fact I was at the kitchen. I really do think that that stuff like this, and like taking this time here to just sort of like ramble and talk out loud and express myself and go places and discover and reaffirm and question, like different things that are going on in my mind. I think that's something that's so powerful, and something I was not really doing before. Because I was just kind of like addicted to, whatever thing I was grinding at the time, whether that's way back in the day when it's Final Fantasy XI online, or whether that was, trying to drop that last percentile of body fat or whatever, I feel just having these moments to, it's like Archimedes, it's like Archimedes in the bath. Like I got these moments to just sort of like ponder and let my mind wander, and I'm not looking at a screen. I'm just looking at the lens. I'm just looking at you. Hello. Knock knock. No, but it's really nice, and if I can just keep this stuff consistently going, which I think I have successfully, I can be really happy with that. I've got this kind of thing that I reflect on, that I try to reflect on quite a lot. Because I think it's always important to be like reflecting. Even if you're kind of in the good times, you need to be reflecting about like, how we got here and how we can stay here, because it's so easy to fall back into like that despair. And, and I've had my times of despair, and I'm sure they will come again, but hopefully I'm just always learning a little bit more about myself so I can utilize that to kind of, combat that and pull myself back out of the darkness, Kingdom Hearts style. But I completely lost the point that I was going to say. I was completely lost the point where I was going to say, but I think we can just kind of keep going. I think it's really important to just like keep reflecting and stuff like that, and acknowledging. No, I know what I was going to say. I know what I was going to say. It's all good. I have this thing that I kind of reflect on as part of my self-reflection progress. Is I like to think if I think a 2 week period is such a good reflection. I think it is such a good reflection of your current reality. Like if you want to like eat better, my advice is always like take a food diary of 2 weeks. Take a really proper hardcore food diary of 2 weeks, right? And then after those 2 weeks, you can review it. Because those 2 weeks are probably going to average out as a pretty good reflection of how you live, right? Yeah, there's going to be like little changes in there, there's going to be little whatevers, but I think like overall that's going to be a pretty darn tootin' good reflection. Is that one open yet? That one ain't open. I think it's going to be a good reflection, because okay, sure, there might be a couple of extreme days in there, but I think they'll average out of the process of the 2 weeks. So that's always kind of my advice for people who are looking to reassess their diet. And I would say that with anything. You want to reassess your video game habits, you want to reassess your exercise, you want to reassess how much you read, how much you study, how much you whatever. keep a really hardcore diet for 2 weeks, and I think it'll average out to be a pretty good reflection of what you do and what you do not do. And I like to apply that. I like to apply that in a bunch of different kind of spaces in my life. And ho. Now this is starting to get a little bit curry. Yeah, I like to apply that to my life. It's kind of looking good. We're getting somewhere. We're starting up. I've got to be careful here. I end up tipping things. Ooh, I can smell that. Okay. So I like to apply that to my life, and I like to think like, oh hey, let's look at the last 2 weeks of my life. If every, because, okay, sure we have changes, but generally like we have routine, things are kind of the same, You have your own little corner of the world you've carved out to where you pitch your tent, and what you do around that tent, who you interact with, whatever. Of course things change, right? Of course things change all the time, but there is like a consistency to all of our little lives. I like to look at my last 2 weeks of my life, and I like to go, oh hey, if these 2 weeks of my life are the pattern for the next 2 weeks of my life, and the next 2 weeks of my life, and every next 2 weeks, every next fortnight of my life, would I be content with that? Would I be okay with that? And if there's something I want to adjust, I try to adjust it. So I always like to do that, and just kind of continually reflect and be like, okay, if this was it, if this is what we were doing, would I be still with that? Would I be cool with that? I feel it's a really useful tool. I'm sure I've talked about that, like I've definitely talked about that on stream before. I'm sure I've talked about that, in a laundry vlog at some point, but I don't know, that works really well for me. And having those little systems of like self-reflection and stuff like that, they keep me on track. Now you might not need this stuff, and you might have it all figured out already. You know what? I'm frickin' happy for you. I'm frickin' happy for you if you already got that sorted out. Glug, 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 glug. Dude, I need to make some actual chicken stock. I haven't made actual chicken stock in a while. Get all the bones and stuff like that. It's just because I keep buying cuts of meat, like the breast, thighs, whatever. When you get that full chicken, and then you get that in the big pot, and you reduce those bones, the carcass you got afterwards, you put vegetables, and now you make a lovely stuff. That stuff be pretty good. We be getting towards the end of today's cooking stream. Because I'm not just going to sort of hang around here and let it cook. I'm just going to do this sort of prep and then let it simmer. Right, top tip, yeah? Pull the stock in here. Get those dregs of tomato out. Full hoe. And the tomato's kind of stuck to the side. Get some yogurt in there. Oh, baby. Come on. It's gonna be great. Last thing, I've got to add in some Greek yogurt in there. I got a couple little things here. We're gonna be good, man. We're gonna be good. Thank you for spending time with me. These are a bit longer form than a lot of the laundry vlogs. These are a bit more of a longer ramble, but you know what, dude? It's cathartic to me. And just the idea, I feel this ongoing process of just sort of diarying and documenting certain aspects of my life has been really, really beneficial. If people watch it or people don't, whatever. I think it's gonna be pretty cool for me in 10 years time to flick back to some of these videos and have a skim through and be like, whoa, I was like that. Because I'm gonna do some Doctor Who here. What was it? Where it's like we're always changing all the time, We're different people throughout our lives, and that's good, That's important. It's good to keep changing, it's good to keep going forward. But I don't want to forget when Rex was me, I don't want to forget when Rex was me. And looking back on these sorts of videos, then I'm sure it'll prompt and bring it all back. I'm gonna go stop the video now. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Lots of love from me. You know where you can find me if you'd like to find me. There's Telegram, there's Discord. I do streams most days. The days you don't see videos like this upload, it's because I'm streaming. Hey man, lots of love. Peace out. I'm gonna go stop the video, but I gotta go all the way over there. So I gotta go all the way over there. Okay. Stopping the video. Bye.